sometimes you just get lucky, and I got lucky today. So and I'll explain how lucky I got and kind of the backstory to it a little bit. So this morning, today is Saturday, September 11th, and this morning I took the mini excavator that I've had for the last week. This video will probably be a couple weeks before it comes out. But I took the excavator that I've had for a week, where I did quite a lot of work around the pond. I took it back to the rental place, and since I had the trailer, I decided that I would just swing through a couple dealerships in town and see what they had on their lot. And swung through the Deere dealer, nothing, not necessarily anything interesting. I did have to swing in, grab a couple oil filters, no big deal there. And then swung through another dealership, and it's a blue and orange dealership. And this was sitting out back. I was actually there for another reason as well. I was looking for some attachments for the 4066. I'm looking at a rock bucket for that tractor. And this was sitting out in the back. Walked in, salesman and I talked about the rock bucket a little bit, and then turned around and I asked him about this, and he said, let's go look at it. And so we went out and looked at it. And a little bit of scratching the dirt and negotiations, and threw this X585 on the trailer. Came with the snowblower, so it's a 47 blower. It's got the 54-inch deck under it. It does have ag tires on it right now. It came with a full set of turfs. It's got a 425, 445, 455 quick hitch for a blade, which I'll get to the quick hitch in just a second. Here's the other tires. Came with a parts deck that one of the spindles is busted out, 4 suitcase weights, some other miscellaneous parts, and then the snowblower came with its own X series quick hitch, which was kind of nice. And then the X585 itself has a rear PTO and 3-point on it. Which actually, the 3-point is one of the reasons I bought it, and I'll explain why here in just a second. So, I mean, overall, you know, obviously it's not in the best condition. If you look at the seat and stuff, I mean, it's got some condition issues. You know, the hood's kind of, it's missing the front part of the hood. The grills and the hood's all kinds of scratched up and everything. It seems to run okay. It surges a little bit. I'm guessing that's probably a fuel filter or an injector. Fortunately, I've got some parts from an X485 that I actually need to test on this. The deck doesn't sit right. There's something up with that, so I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit. But you know, overall, I mean, it's a pretty decent thing. Now, oh, and it also came with the long drive shaft for the snowblower. To show you how unprepared I was, I managed to scrape up a grand total of 3 straps. So 2 were holding the blower on. I had to use the chains that I had for the excavator to hold the X585 on, which is kind of funny. The salesman's like, well, that's interesting, chains to hold down a garden tractor. And it's like, well, it was what works and it was safe. And then I had one partial strap. It didn't have the ratchet system on it, which kind of looped over the top, and then this one ratchet here. And then I put all this stuff in the back of the truck in the bed. So I just had to, I took another trip later today, and so I just threw it out here and called it good. So I think that we're leaking coolant, or at least that's what it seems like on the engine. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this tractor quite yet. I was mostly after the 3-point, because I'm going to take the 3-point off this machine and actually put the 3-point on the X758. One of the things, right after I bought the X758, Deere raised the price of the 3-point on that tractor by I think $250, and so now they're approaching $900 and some odd now for the 3-point. Now I cannot take the PTO off this one and put it on the X758. The gears are different, so that is not something I can do, but I can take the PTO off of this one and set it to the side for a future X758 or 48 or something like that. I think that change was done in 2009, 2010, just thinking off the top of my head. So we've got a little bit of work to do to it. I'm at least going to test out some components that I've had sitting on the shelf for a couple years from various tractors. Just because this one runs, I've actually been looking for good running X485 or X585 to test some components. The blower is actually going to go on either the X748 or X758 this coming winter for my wife. So it'll be in the garage. I mean, it's in okay shape. It's, you know, it's clearly done some duty during its time, but it seems to spin okay. No problems there. I got to do some minor attention to the chain drive and stuff like that, but we'll get to that. This deck, like I said, on the machine, it's lopsided. I think there's something wrong underneath it. I haven't gotten into it yet. And then this deck is toast. I mean, spindles are bent, pulleys are bent. That spindle's missing completely. Even cracked out the deck. So, I mean, there's not much I can do there. And this blade, I'm actually going to keep this quick hitch, since it's a quick hitch for a 425, 445, 455. I'm going to use this for the 445, and that way the 445, or the 445, the 455. That way this winter I can compare the 455 and the X748 on blowing snow. This blade will replace my current 54 blade that's got the bend in it. So I'll be keeping that as well, and we'll just switch that over. So, you know, overall, I'm really excited about this package. You know, like I said, they knew it had some problems. They didn't have to run it through their shop or anything. They took it on a trade on somebody buying a bigger zero turn. I think it was Kubota zero turn. So, you know, I was really happy to take it off their hands, and I think they were happy to be rid of it because they do mostly ag stuff, and I don't think any of their shop guys are really too excited to run this through their shop and do all the maintenance to it and everything. So I'm going to get it unloaded, and we will go from there. Once I get it unloaded, we may go through everything a little bit more detail, see how things are and whatnot. So see if I find anything, you know, that way I can show you running and everything. So we'll go from there. All right, let's fire this thing up. I'm actually gonna fire it up and then look for the deck problem. Runs as good as it looks, doesn't it? One, the lift up the lift link is bent, and then my second diagnosis is I think the rock shaft is off. We'll have to take the fender pan off to see that. So let's get off the trailer. Alright, so I just left it running in full throttle just because it sounds a little bit better. So you can definitely smell the coolant. I just don't know where it's coming from yet. So it's definitely over rich when it's at an idle. So that's definitely something I'll have to look into, and I don't exactly know why. My guess is it's probably one of the sensors, or that would be my guess. I'll have to get a pair of pliers to get that off. Anyway, like I said, I can smell the coolant. I don't know where it's from. It doesn't appear to be the radiator. It appears to be the front of the engine here. Because you can kind of tell where it's leaking under the engine. So yeah, I'll have to dig into that. Might be out of the water pump. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't care one way or another whether this machine stays whole or gets parted out. I mean, really don't care about the machine itself. It's not why I bought it. So but I am going to go ahead and get the deck out from underneath there. That way I can drive it around for a bit. Just kind of test everything out. I can't drive it around like that with the deck. That's as high as it gets for right now. So I am going to do that, and we'll take it for a test drive. So like I said, here's everything else. So we got the spare deck, we got the tires, snowblower. As I said, snowblower's definitely seen some use. It's got the metal impeller in it. Supposedly this was purchased at the same time that the X585 was purchased. We got the quick hitch with no angle, just a locking pin. And then we've got the 425, 445, 455 quick hitch with the blade. Basically, I'm going to keep that whole setup and sell my blade that I have. So and then I may dig a little bit deeper into the snowblower. I know that it's got the older chain drive system on it. Chain looks a little loose, so we'll get into some of that, whatnot. So, and anyways, maybe I'll put it on the X585 here just to test everything out. So, but yeah, let me get this deck off here and we'll go from there. All right, so I drove it around a little bit, and I think I'm going to do two things first, and I also identified one problem. I'm going to replace the fuel filter. I'm going to check the adjustment on the valves, and then I am also going to fix the air cleaner. I went to go pull the air cleaner off, and it seems as though we have a small problem. The nut is stripped, or the plastic knob is stripped off, and so there's no way to get the air cleaner off. So that is a problem for the next video. So drove it around for a little bit. Seems to drive fine, handles fine, no big problems there. So I work on the air cleaner next, because our surging and our rich condition could be due to a pressure sensor, could be due to a temperature sensor, any number of things. I did quickly, I keep a couple of good sensors on hand, also a couple of ignition boxes. And so I did switch out. So this is a known good ignition box. I switched that out. It's back here and there, right in there. I switched that out to make sure that everything was good to go, and everything seemed fine. So it's definitely on the engine somewhere. No big wiring issues that I found. So we'll just start plugging away at it and see what we can do. So I think that's it for this introductory video. Next thing is trying to get the air cleaner fixed. So we will go from there. Thanks for watching.